Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode with Dr. Vlad the Vet. I've been wanting to do an episode like this for a while now. Just haven't found, for one, the time, but also the willpower to sit in front of a camera by myself in an empty room and talk about myself personally and who I am as an individual. A lot of people have told me to sit down, tell the viewers, tell the subscribers a little bit about myself, and I guess this is the right time now with me beginning my career. So if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a story yesterday asking people to ask me a question just to get to know me a little bit more. I kind of wanted to avoid the rhetorical going online and Googling what questions can I answer to tell people about myself. So I'm going to open those up, I'm going to read them to you guys, and I'm going to try my best to reply. I've seen some of them, but not all of them, so we'll see what we can get into. As always, before I get into the video and the thick of it, if you could please like, share, and subscribe. I'm really putting the time and effort both into the videos, into filming, to try and provide you guys with some more content on a weekly basis, and just see what you guys are interested to. If you have any ideas, if you want to see something, if you've read something about large animal medicine and you'd like a deeper explanation or even video footage of that, I'll try my best to provide that to you guys. So just comment down below, follow me on Instagram, personal message me, and we'll figure something out. But yeah, always feel free to reach out to me. So let's see what we have here. I just gotta find my Instagram and then gotta figure out how to see the questions that people asked me. Okay, responses, see all. Alright, so the first questions that came in was from a good friend of mine back in Edmonton. And it says, what is a piece of advice you would give your younger self? Whew, that's a tough one. I should have maybe read these a little bit before so I can actually think of an answer. I think one of my biggest things that I would say to my younger self if I had the opportunity would be to just keep on going, keep on pushing, and don't stress over such little things. Growing up, I'd always find myself worrying about things that in the moment, of course, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this, but you think in the moment that things are such a big issue or things are such a huge priority that you need to put them at the top of your list, worry about them constantly. Whereas in retrospect, they're not really that important, and I've come to learn that as I've become older. Some of the more important things in your life, family, friends, health, experiences, are definitely some of the things that I think everybody should prioritize in their life. Excuse me, wow. But yeah, growing up, I've always been worried. My biggest thing would probably be my worry for school, for getting good grades. This is before vet school and stuff. And just making my parents, my family proud. You know, I'd hate to disappoint them, and school was a big thing, and they kept pushing me, and without them, I wouldn't be in this position that I am today. So in one aspect, I'm thankful for that. In one aspect, they might have caused some impending stress on me to always do my best and always get the best possible grades. But to all the young kids out there, if it's whether you're in elementary, junior high, high school, I didn't get the grades or have the grades in high school to get into a program that I wanted to get into, and here I am now. I'm a veterinarian. I'm, what I think, doing well for myself. So you can achieve whatever you want as long as you just determine yourself and put the effort in to do that. So I think that, long story short, is what I tell my younger self, or a piece of advice I'd give my younger self, is to just go with the flow, take it day by day, and don't let the little things stress you out or worry you. Good question, and I took a much longer time to respond to it than I intended. Another question is, what is the biggest lesson you have learned in business so far? If you're new to the channel, and many of you might not know me on a personal level like some people do, is veterinary medicine, of course, interests me. It's my profession. It's what I do. However, business, entrepreneurship, trying to turn $1 into $2 is something that I'm also passionate about. I'm always thinking about ideas. I'm always thinking about potential paths that I can go on to create a business, create something that people will enjoy, but also provide some sort of utility to people. So my brain's always rambling. If anybody wants to reach out in that regard and talk about potential ideas, feel free. So with that, with me being an entrepreneurial spirit, I'd say that the biggest lesson I've learned in business so far is that it's freaking hard. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of risk that some people might not be willing to put in, which is completely fine. I mean, it's not, just like veterinary medicine isn't cut out for everybody, business and all that type of stuff isn't cut out for everybody either. But from what I've seen, whether it be veterinary clinic owners, practice owners, family members who are running their own businesses, the farm at home, and even this whole YouTube thing, it's grand and everything from the outside, and you think of it and you say, oh wow, that's a really good idea, that'll work. There's money to be made in it, but once you get into the thick of it, you realize how much time and effort and dedication and hard-learned lessons there are within everything that you do delve in, whether that be a YouTube channel, running a farm business, running a personal business, managing people as a veterinary clinic owner, from what I've seen from the outside in. So definitely it's much harder than people make it out to be, but what's hard definitely has its rewards at the end of it all. So I feel like putting the effort in now, showing my willingness and my drive is going to pay off in the long run. So good question. And speaking of it, I'm getting people to reply to my question as I'm reading these, which I did not expect. This question is coming from a longtime friend back in Edmonton, who we played soccer with together. They're asking, who was your favorite teammate on the Warriors '97 team? That was good times. I'd say that was a period of my life where I improved most in my soccer and in my dream of playing soccer. For those of you that don't know, soccer was huge in my life. I mean, my mom will say it. The amount of kilometers that all the family vehicles have would say it. I played soccer since the age of 3 all the way up until my second year of undergrad, where I unfortunately tore my ACL and my meniscus playing for the varsity team. And then after that, I didn't have the confidence to play again. I was always scared that my knee was going to bust out. So just that drive and that hunger to get into tackles, I just didn't want to risk it. And then I went down the vet school path and the veterinarian life, and that's what ended up happening. And I still stay active, but playing soccer is no longer one of my passions or priorities, which I had no idea I'd come to the day where I'd say something like that. But life changes in the blink of an eye, and you need to be adaptable, and you need to be able to just accept those facts and move on at the end of it. But my favorite teammate, I'll say it, was Dylan Taylor. That'll make him happy. We have more questions here. One of them is, can you sing the Canadian national anthem for us? That, embarrassingly enough, I do not think that I can do on the spot. Growing up, I don't know what it's like everywhere else around the world, but in Canada, at least it was, I don't know now, you'd start the morning off by standing up, getting out of your chair, Everybody would have a Canadian flag in the classroom, and they'd play the national anthem over the intercom, and everybody would sing along. But that's one of those things that, like, you hear the instrumental, you remember the lyrics as they come, whereas just like this, off a blank slate, phew, does that make me a bad Canadian citizen? I don't know. But, oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command, with growing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. See, I drew a blank. I don't know. I don't know it. I apologize to all my Canadian fans, but that's something that I'll definitely practice on, or I'd put it into the video, but I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to do that. How old am I? Interesting question. I'm today 26. However, tomorrow I'll be 27, so my birthday is in July. So yeah, I'm going to be 27 in about 24 hours, or if we're counting midnight, in about 10 hours. Let's see what else we have here. What made you want to become a veterinarian for large animals specifically? So if you've followed me, or if you've followed my mentor, Dr. Cody Creelman, we have a bunch of videos, we have a bunch of speeches together, a bunch of events that we've been at where we talk about this often, but it was my second year of undergrad at the University of Alberta where there was a program within my first Animal Science 200 class that was called the Animal Science Mini Internship. And what this was students who are interested, they enroll into the program, the professors then put you at your top ranked, whether that be vet clinic, animal nutrition company, something else within the agricultural industry, whether it be a farm and whatnot. So not knowing who Dr. Cody Creelman was, the cow vet, I picked his former veterinary clinic as my top option. And luckily enough, I mean, the stars aligned, and I got placed there for a 4-day internship, as you would say, more so just me riding along, volunteering, doing what I needed to do. And then from there on, after that, and what I saw him doing within the cow-calf operations, the backgrounding operations, the feedlot operations from the veterinary side of things, I just said that this is it. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be around large animals. I want to be around agriculture, and mostly I want to be around the producers. Amazingly enough, I mean, these producers don't get as much credit as they should in regards to the amount of knowledge they have, the amount of intellect that they have, how smart these individuals are, their willingness to always improve. I mean, like in everything, you're going to have people on one end of the spectrum and other people on the other end of the spectrum. That's inevitable, but you have a lot of these producers who are putting in a bunch of their time, effort, and commitment to make things better, to provide people with food every single day of the year. I mean, there's, for instance, dairy farms that are 365 days a year. These owners are there every single day, whether they have employees or not, to do the work that needs to be done. They're still there. They're still making sure everything's done. And what I've noticed here in California, and with many of the immigrant dairy farmers within Canada, these people speak 2, 3, 4 languages, and it's mind-blowing the way that they're able to communicate with the veterinarians, their workers, their family. So yeah, it's one of the big reasons I wanted to go into large animal was that providing a service to the individuals that provide the entire world with so much. Yeah, that sums up that answer and that question. Where did your passion for veterinary medicine come from? So as I mentioned, okay, sorry about that. battery on my GoPro died, so I just had to switch that out before I got back into it. Let's switch back over. I think the question was, where did your passion for veterinary medicine come from? So I already talked about how and why I wanted to go into specifically large animal medicine, but the passion for veterinary medicine, of course, that internship kind of added fuel to the fire. I mean, we were, as a family growing up, a little bit of a background. My parents immigrated into Canada in 1995. I'm a first generation immigrant, born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and that's where I was raised up until 2015 when we moved out to our farm, which you guys, if you'll go back into all my old videos when Vlad's vlog still existed, I kind of delve into that area of things. But I've always been holy moly, I've always been pulled towards agriculture and animal agriculture. I mean, growing up, we didn't have cats or dogs in the house. We had a goldfish when I was 5, and when it died, that was it. We didn't get any more. But my uncle back in Serbia, he's a producer, he's a farmer. He has pigs, he has sheep, he has fields that he crops and harvests. So whenever we go back, we always spend time there. My parents came from a village background. They harvested the food that they fed their families, and when they immigrated into Canada, they still tried to keep those cultural roots intact. I mean, every winter time we'd get a whole pig, we'd cut it up, we'd grind the meat, we'd make sausages, we'd smoke the pork loins and the sausages and have that cold smoked meat for the whole winter. Spring and summertime, we'd always plant gardens. We'd eat the food that came from our gardens, and we just became, in that regard, self-sustainable. Not to deny the fact that we didn't go to grocery stores and get our supplies and what we needed from there too. We did that for sure, but we still kept close to our cultural roots and how both my parents, my mom and my dad, were raised. So my passion, I would say, from veterinary medicine, now looking back, definitely stems from my familial heritage, where my roots lie, and just continuing on that passion of, let's say, they didn't know it at that time, but they were advocates. I'm an advocate, an agricultural advocate. I stand by the industry and I stand for what it does. Of course, like I said earlier, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's some people who are using it to do bad things. There's some people most people, a lot of people, a huge majority of people are using the industry for very, very good things. And I think it's the good people that don't get enough attention, because the people who are trying to do bad are just pulling the right strings in order to get what they want when they want. So that's a complete different rabbit hole that we won't go down. But my passion for vet med starts with my family for sure. Okay, we answered that one. If you weren't a vet, what would you be? Who? I think there's one video that I uploaded back when it was Vlad's vlogs. I spoke at Canadian Agriculture Day at the University of Alberta, and I said, this was funny because my mom was in the crowd and she was watching, and I said she had no idea of this at the time, but I said that I actually wanted to go into agriculture. No, Vlad, I wanted to go into engineering. See, agriculture is just pulling me all the time. I wanted to go into engineering because, I mean, I grew up, math was my entire life. My dad spent evenings with me cutting up apples and making me learn fractions from the age of 3. So it was always, I come from a family of, let's say, math whizzes. They know numbers off the top of their head, and they're just able to do things. So I just felt like, engineering, go down that route, math, building things. I always like to build things, was it. But if I wasn't a vet, I don't think I'd want to be an engineer now that I look back at it. With the farm, I'd probably invest more in the farm, expand things there, and take over the operation. I mean, it's, like I said, a hard life with lots of time, effort, and risk associated with it, but you're there with your family, you spend time with your loved ones, which at the end of the day is everything you really need, and you raise your own food, which is what a lot of people should be doing, and I advocate that for that heavily. So yeah, I'd probably be a farmer. That's another question. If you weren't a vet, what would you be doing instead? So farmer. As we say in Serbia, actually no. I'd be a farmer, yeah. Okay. National anthem one's done. Passion for vet med's done. Are you from Pelotas? No, I'm not from Pelotas. I think that's a region in Brazil. I have a close buddy of mine that Leocádia. I'm going to take the opportunity to say hi to my friend Leocádia. We both did our externships at Azores, the practice that I'm working for right now, back in February of 2024. And I learned a bunch of Brazil and the Rio Grande do Sul, the area that he's from, and the differences between the south and the north in certain areas, and what type of people come from certain areas. So I'm a Canadian boy, as I said, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, not Pelotas. Okay. Large animals done. Another question here. What did you choose? Why did you choose vet med? What's your study routine / study tips while in vet school? Maybe I shouldn't have read that one. I am not a good person to come to when it comes to study tips and study routines. I always wanted to start an Instagram. I mean, there's a bunch of people who started vet student Instagram as soon as they got into vet school, and they're posting study tips and them in laboratories doing technical and hands-on skills and whatnot. Whereas me, I mean, don't come to me for study tips. I sat in lectures, had the lecture slides in front of me, read them as the professor was reading them. If they added anything extra, I'd write it down on my computer, and that was that. When it came to exam time, I'd flip my laptop open. I'd start studying. If it was finals, I'd start studying a week and a half to 2 weeks before. If it was an exam or quiz, a day, 2 days before, and I'd read the slides. I had the ability to read something. If I repeated it multiple times, it eventually stuck. And if it didn't stick in my head, then so be it. I went through undergrad grinding myself to the bone. I studied. The same techniques, mind it. I didn't go home, rewrite my notes, and then study those or do the colored pictures and whatnot and notes. I just read the slides, but I started studying way earlier. I felt more prepared. And I think that's more so because I was trying to get into vet school. You need a high GPA to get in. So I pushed myself towards that then, which is really bad. But once I got in, I mean, you're in the system. They'll do what they can, obviously, to get you through. You obviously have to show determination, motivation, and willingness to succeed. But I'm the type of person that you can tell me something in a lecture theater, but if I don't grab that with my own hands. Okay, that time my SD card errored out, so I had to put a new SD card in. And hopefully this time it works. I mean, like I said, it's not easy to be a YouTube creator, I guess. Back to the questions. What the heck was I talking about? My study routines, that's right. Yeah, I'm a very big hands-on learner. I can only sit so long in one spot and listen to the same person for so long before everything that they're saying just goes in one ear and out the other. So my study tips are to just sit down and grind. I mean, if you got to spend hours each day to study, then so be it. That's just the way you need to study. I was one individual who didn't study every single day. I studied when I needed to, and that worked for me, and it definitely doesn't work for everybody. So I know why people are creating these accounts and providing study tips and sell packages for studying for certain exams and whatnot, but it's so difficult for everybody to fall within one category of being able to study one certain way and one certain thing working for everybody. It's not, that doesn't exist. And I'll leave it at that. I just had a bubble fly out of my nose, so I apologize for that. Okay. I think those... Oh, last question before I switch over to Facebook. Favorite place you've traveled to and top 3 future travel destinations. Favorite place I've traveled to. I mean, that's gotta be Serbia. Growing up, we'd spend summers there. I spent 3 months there, just me and my grandparents. And it's just one of those things where you know the culture, you know the language, you get along with the people. So it's much easier to fit in within an area like that. And I'd have to say you can get around much easier and find yourself within comfort spots. Whereas, I mean, I've traveled to other places that I loved, but they just didn't have the same effect that they didn't have the same effect that Serbia does when you go there, and you just spend time with family and friends that you've grown up with. But besides that, I'd probably say I'd really liked Santorini, Greece. That's a nice place to visit. I'd like to explore more of that. I'd also like to go to, that's actually the second part of the question. And top 3 future travel destinations. I really want to go to Tokyo. Now that I'm so close to San Francisco and there's direct flights to Tokyo, I'm definitely going to Tokyo. So if I probably don't think this is true, but if there's any subscribers that live in Japan or any future subscribers who are watching this at a later point in time, if you're in Tokyo at any point, reach out. But I definitely want to go to Tokyo. I want to explore more of the Greek islands. And I would probably say, I mean, now that I work for the Azores, my boss, the people in the area, the producers, they all rave about it. I'm sitting in a boardroom with pictures of one of the Azores islands in front of me, and it just looks absolutely stunning. So number 3, let's put Azores on there just to make the regional viewers happy. Alrighty, I think that finishes Instagram. I know my cousin sent me a question on Facebook. And I got another question on Facebook, so we'll answer my cousin's first. Their question was, why farming? What attracts you to work on a farm? I think I answered a large portion of this question back in a previous question where I said doing it for the producers, the lifestyle, raising your own food, spending time with your family and working with them, even if you might, of course, get into arguments, which happen frequently because when you work with family, you're always going to have those things, especially if you have an idea and they have an idea and trying to do both ideas at once. But hey, you grow in those instances and you just develop the different side of your relationship with those experiences. But yeah, why farming? Oh wow, this stuck with me, hey? Yikes. This bubble stuck with me, guys. Sorry about that. You see that? Shameless plug. Palpation Nation merch. Go online, search it up. Get yours while you can. I mean, it'll always exist, so I'm not sure why I'm saying get yours while you can, but yeah, just get some support. But yeah, farming, the producers, the lifestyle, the family ties, and just being around animals. It amazes me the level of animal agriculture that exists in this world, and how many people just think that the whatever might be in the store, whatever product, animal byproduct of meat, not animal, yeah, it's an animal byproduct. Their meat is a byproduct of them. So whether that be beef, steaks, lamb, pork, chicken, whatever you might eat, that people just think it magically shows up and that's that. It's meant to be there and they ask no questions, whereas it's hundreds of thousands, millions, billions of people who are involved in the industry, and how many families rely on the industry to feed themselves, which is also feeding the rest of the world. It's just amazing once you step foot on these operations and on these farms and see the behind the scenes of what goes into getting that piece of meat or piece of anything, whether it be even dry ingredients that people don't even know come from animals on the shelves in grocery stores. So it's an amazing industry, and it doesn't get as much recognition as it deserves. The other question was, what inspired you to become a vet? I think I answered that. I know I answered that. It was my mentor, Dr. Cody Creelman. It was my family ties and my roots and heritage, and just wanting to help these individuals who provide the world with so much, which are the farmers, the ranch hands, the workers on these farms. Just providing them with a quality service so that their animals are happy and healthy is one of the biggest things as well. So yeah, that wraps up all the questions that I had. I honestly enjoyed this. This kind of took that boundary, or if you want to say that barrier, down between me and the awkwardness of having a camera in front of me by myself sitting in a boardroom. So I enjoyed it. Another video I had in mind, and you guys tell me if this is a good idea or not. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys about why I chose to come to California and work here rather than stay in Alberta and work as a large animal veterinarian there. That's another idea of mine that I have. Some other things that I'm talking to with the clinic here, and all the other associates and the owner are starting a podcast. So keep a lookout for that. It's going to fall under the Azores Veterinary Practice umbrella. I'm not 100% sure if I want to also do something on the side of my own, but we'll figure that out as it comes. And then I know that we're working on merchandise for the practice and a brand for the practice, just to be able to promote ourselves at different events that you'll be able to find us at, and even through the podcast and social media. Excuse me. But yeah, lots of ideas in my head, lots of things that I want to do. Always thinking about ways to improve. So if you guys have any suggestions, please comment them down below. I'd be more than happy to hear from you guys and to see what ideas you might have, and we can go from there. As always, please, like I said in the beginning, like, comment, share, subscribe. My subscriber number is increasing slowly but surely, and why don't we incentivize it by, I think I'm at, I don't even know, 280 something right now, but if we can reach 350 subscribers, I'll do a giveaway of this shirt right here from Palpation Nation. So what you got to do to enroll in the giveaway is be a subscriber of mine on my YouTube. If you have Instagram, follow me on there. I won't check that, but please follow me and comment on this video. So the biggest things are be subscribed to me on YouTube and comment on this video. And then once we reach 350 subscribers, I'll put everybody's name into the Google spin wheel thing, and whoever Google chooses, that individual will be getting the prize of the shirt. With that, my camera died on me again, so I'm going to cut it here. I'd like to say thank you so much for sitting down, taking the time to watch this video, but more so listen to it, get to know me, get to know the individual that I am and why I'm in such a great industry like veterinary medicine and agriculture. I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoy as well. And then, as always, until next time, and please stay safe out there, everybody. Dr. Vlad the Vet is out.